Hi everyone, in this video, we're going to learn how to write the perfect conclusion for your essay. The conclusion can be considered the easiest paragraph to write because in many ways, you're just using ideas you have already mentioned in your introduction and main body paragraphs. However, it is the last thing the examiner will read, and it is therefore crucial that you finish strongly. It is very difficult to get a good score in Task 2 if you haven't finished the essay with the conclusion. Even if you are running out of time, make sure you write one. For the conclusion, aim to write just 1 or 2 sentences that paraphrase what you have discussed in the essay. Aim to write 1 or 2 sentences. Try to keep it under 45 words. Don't try to include everything. You're not required to go into detail. You have already done that in your main body paragraphs. Instead, you will just summarize your main points. Here are some quick tips that I need to give you. The first tip is never write any new ideas in your conclusion. A conclusion should always simply restate the ideas you have in the rest of your essay. New ideas belong in the main body and not in the conclusion. The second tip is make sure you answer the question in the conclusion. The conclusion should state what you think about the question and make it clear how you feel about the issue. The third tip is vary your language. Just because you are restating the ideas you have in the rest of your essay, it doesn't mean you can use the same language. Instead, you show the examiner you have a wide range of vocabulary by paraphrasing. It is important that you practice writing the conclusion and learn how to write them quickly. I will show you how below. A full conclusion should contain, firstly, the concluding signal, and then the opinion and summary. The last and also optional part of your conclusion is concluding comment. Let's look at the first part of your conclusion, which is concluding signal. Remember, it is different for different types of essays. For example, for discursive essays, the concluding signals can be like this. According to the above discussion, one can come to a conclusion that, to sum up, it may be concluded from the foregoing points that, in light of this evidence, it is obvious that. To conclude, there is no absolute answers to the question of. All things considered, the obvious conclusion to be drawn is that. For argumentative essays, you can start the conclusion by saying, for the aforementioned reasons, I am inclined to believe that. Taking everything into consideration, I therefore conclude that. Based on the arguments outlined above, I hold the firm belief that. From the points enlisted above, it seems obvious that. The arguments outlined above have apparently overturned or confirmed the prevailing notion that. For cause-effect solution essays, we can start the conclusion by saying, to summarize, the rise of this phenomenon has been caused by. To recapitulate, this trend has given rise to a range of disturbing consequences, including. In summary, there are various measures to deal with this issue, of which I feel the most effective method would be to. There are some concluding signals that you should not use. Firstly, finally isn't really suitable because it indicates that you are making a final point and therefore a new idea. Finally belongs in the main body of your essay, not the conclusion. Secondly, in a nutshell, because it is too informal and we should never use it in the IELTS conclusions. Thirdly, in general, because it tells the reader you are going to talk gently about a topic. This is not what we're going to do in our conclusion, and we should not use it. The next part of your conclusion is restating your opinion. In a discursive essay, this is where you state your opinion. In an argumentative essay, you can simply paraphrase your original thesis statement. For the summary, one habit of IELTS candidates is to end with a simple summary of their opinion and main ideas. This is absolutely fine and can add essential extra coherence, but it is not necessary. This is not important, but if you do want to write, then it is a good idea to paraphrase the main ideas of each paragraph in very brief terms. Never include examples or explanation. These again go in the body of the essay. Let's look at a few examples. Question 1. Some students prefer to take a year off between school and university to work or to travel. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? In the body paragraphs, supposing we have discussed the disadvantages and advantages of taking a gap year. Then for the conclusion, you can say that in light of these facts, taking a year off from school is not an ill-advised decision, and parents whose children gravitate towards spending 1 year off before university should shake off any unfavorable attitudes toward it. Example question 2. Some people think that the best way to ensure road safety is to increase the minimum legal age for driving cars or riding motorbikes. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Supposing in the body paragraphs we have discussed that it is a good way to ensure road safety, but it is not the best way, then for the conclusion we can end our essay by saying, To conclude, it is my belief that fewer people's lives will be put in danger while taking part in traffic if the governments restrict young people from driving and enforce other regulations with strict adherence. Example question 3. Many museums and historical sites are mainly visited by tourists, but not local people. Why is this the case, and what can be done to attract more local people to visit these places? Supposing in the body paragraph we have listed reasons why museums are not visited by local people and propose methods for attracting local people. Then for the conclusion we can say that, to conclude, many reasons can be given as to why local people lose their enthusiasm for museums and places of historical importance. However, the revival of these places is within our grasp should proper actions be taken. The last part of your conclusion is the concluding comment. It can come in the form of hope, opinion, or recommendation. Here are a few examples. Question 1. Blood sports have become a hot topic for debate in recent years. As society develops, it is increasingly seen as an uncivilized activity and cruel to the helpless animals that are killed. Blood sports should be banned. To what extent do you agree or disagree? For this question, my conclusion would be, to conclude, it is clear that blood sports should be prohibited, as no civilized society should allow the pain and suffering of animals simply for fun. I hope that governments around the world discuss this issue with haste and forbid these inhumane types of sport as soon as possible. Question 2. Global warming is one of the most serious issues that the world is facing today. What are the causes of global warming, and what measures can governments and individuals take to tackle the issue? For this question, we can end our essay by saying, to conclude, although global warming is a serious issue, there are steps that governments and individuals can take to reduce its effects. If we are to save our planet, it is important that this is treated as a priority for all concerned. Question 3. Some people believe the aim of university education is to help graduates get better jobs. Other people believe there are much wider benefits of university education for both individuals and society. Discuss both views and give your opinion. We can end our essay for this question by saying, in conclusion, I believe that although the main aim of university education is to get the best job, there are clearly further benefits. If we continue to promote and encourage university attendance, it will lead to a better future for individuals and society. Remember, for the conclusion, you need to restate the main point and vary your vocabulary by paraphrasing. Let's look at the next video where we are going to learn how to write body paragraphs.